Hi, Doug. Thanks for tuning in to another video. I'm going to, as usual, speak quickly, but I want to answer your questions from your phone call the other night. Basically, you were asking about how to edit the page. So I've already logged into the website. I know you know how to do that because you've been playing around with the site yourself. Since I'm logged in, as I hover over the different areas, you can see that they're highlighted. And when you click on the wrench, just hover over the wrench, you'll see that this is for a row setting. This is for a heading setting. This one here would be a row setting. And again, just as you proceed down. One of the things that you're going to want to change is to start working on some of the content on the page. So today's specials at KPC, Kingsport, and more. You may want to change that. Just go ahead and click it, and your text editor box opens up here. Give it a second, and let's see here. Oh, we don't have any other text in there. All we have is that we have the heading, but we actually don't have any necessarily text in the area below it. So I'm going to cancel out of that. And then scroll down here, same thing, you've got a text editor box. You could change the color of the rows and do some other things, but there's probably no reason for you to do so, but you could. And if you go here and then scroll down, here's the color and kind of play around with these other areas. So way more than what you'll probably want to do or need to do. But if you just click here, you got your text editor, go ahead and change your text and then hit enter. If you want to change color, probably don't mess with the size too much. Paragraph size is 16 font. That's pretty good for default for your paragraph font. The other stuff, it's all set for default. So you can change it, but you probably don't need to. So I'm going to hit cancel. And then I'm going to get out of this page here. So I'm going to hit done. And then there was another page that you were asking about, like with the CSV files. There it was right there, the CSV files. Okay, so let me go back to this page here. As soon as I finish loading, let me click on Builder again, just so it opens up the Builder on this particular page. Now, the document or the information we were talking about on the phone, let's see what this is here. The page is still loading, so one more second. It's almost done loading. Let's see, there's this, and then here. So what this says is smart heading settings. So this is actually really nothing. It could be a heading. It could be a text. It's really just a message to you is what I did. And so, excuse me, by random, I put the thing right here and get the message to you. But I could easily cut that out, hit cancel, I'll just delete that. So let me just delete this, hit that. And then what I was telling you to do is just go to like your Word document, so text editor, and you could, depending on that, that's what I was asking you, are you using a Word document or are you using an Excel spreadsheet or what are you using? If you're to create those specials and the price list, your wholesale pricing. If you're using Microsoft Word, for the most part, what you could end up doing, now this gets a little tricky because some of the code, but if you can just go here, you can go ahead and just hit Control V, or you could have done a right mouse click on depending on which operating browser you're using. But I did Control V, or what you could also do is just go, let me move this down, hit paste, and this, now what that's going to do is let me hit this, sorry, cancel. Go back to my text editor. Sorry, stay with me here. Drop that in there. And then hit Control V. Now I've just pasted it. I did not take anything out of Word. That's what I was going to show you. So if you go to Microsoft Word, if you have something open, let me just see what I can find real fast here. Well, sure, I'll use an article about my wife. You may have seen her in the newspaper. She was inducted into her High School Hall of Fame recently, and then she got some statewide award up there in Michigan recently, and so the article on her is opening here. It's going to be a Microsoft Word, excuse me, Word article, and so I'm going to show you. So here's the article here, and so what I want to show you, if I go right, there's an example to highlight this. I have just highlighted some font that is bold and it's larger than this other font, so it's got some formatting. I'm going to do Control C, and now I've just copied it onto the clipboard. Now I'm going to go back to Beaver Builder. So did you stay with me there? So down here is my Word document. I did Control C. I copied this. I shrink this down. Come on, now I shrunk it down. Okay, and so now I'm back at my Beaver Builder. I'm in my text editor. I've already pasted this text. It was just straight text. But if I go here and I go Control V, it has added, this is called style information. And where that comes into play is that when you're playing with your prices and the wholesale price, that type of stuff, you're adding some of this type of styling in there. So that's fine most of the time, but sometimes the formatting doesn't look exactly right because the pages are displayed differently based on the size of the monitor, whether the phone's turned sideways, whether it's a tablet, whether it's a larger screen. So what happens with the styling like this is just one example. It's bold and it's large and it's all in one line. But on another monitor, it's going to be broken up. And then if you start having numbers and prices on tables, it may start to look differently. So there are different ways you can work around that if you're going to be using tables. We could talk more about that. But what I wanted to show you is this example here. So I'm just going to put my cursor down there. But what I'm going to do is hit this box here, the text, I guess it's a text deletion. It removes all the HTML. So what I'm going to do is now I'm going to hit Control V in a second. I'm going to paste it. But as you know, this was just pasted off the clipboard. It has some formatting. But because I've hit this, it's going to remove the formatting. I'm going to hit Control V. And now you can see it does not have the bold. It is larger in capital, but it did not include some of the coloring. And if this was a different font, it would not have included that. The reason I'm showing you this is because when you copy and paste your stuff from a Word document, you sometimes may want to do some formatting. And if you do, and your formatting is a little messed up, you may want to go ahead and remove some of the styling, and then you can move stuff around sometimes a little easier and edit it. But so with that being said, I'm going to hit save. And then when you go back to this page, all you end up doing is just click this button here, and you'll delete this box. And then you go ahead and hit your plus button, and then decide if you're going to put a text editor. Now, you have the option because, like I said, you have lots of options, dozens of options. But the way that you're doing it with your pricing, if you could just do it right on the website, it may or may not be easier for you to do that. And so one of the widgets or modules that you have is creating a table directly on the page itself as one of the widgets. So it's not under the standard modules, but I believe it's under the PowerPack modules. I'm looking for tables. So if you see tables, say something. Obviously, I won't hear you, but you can still say something. Here it is right here. And so what I'm going to do is drag and drop it right. I'm going to drop it at the bottom because I'm going to let you go do this yourself, Doug. So I'm going to put it down here. Table opens up. You then can start playing around. One of the things you could do is you could import a CSV file. A CSV file comes from Excel. So if you're working in Excel spreadsheets to do your tables, which I don't think you're doing, or your spreadsheet, but if you were, like rows and columns, you could export it as a CSV out of Excel or Google Sheets, and then save it on your desktop, and then go and import the CSV import. One of the clients that does that is dynastyprosfootball.com. They do a lot of stuff with players and statistics. It's a fantasy football league, and so they have reasons that they use CSV files every day, every week, probably every week, probably. They import new CSV files over the previous existing files. So that's an option for you. When I just said that, thinking about it, if you were working in Excel, which I don't think you are, but that would be an option. So, but what I was showing you is that here you've got a table, so you can sort. You're probably not going to do that, but you can put headers in there on your table. You can set up the number of rows and then what the rows are called. You can start getting into styling with bordering. Probably don't mess with padding and stuff, Doug. You're not. There's no reason for you to do some of that. Most of the stuff is just leave it at default. You don't need to mess with it. But other than adding your rows, so let's edit a row, and boom, boom, boom. I should name it row one. Oh, come on, row, caps lock off, row one. Okay, and cell one. So let's name this cell one. Now, normally you would not do that. I'm just showing you so that you see it on the page. So, and then I'm going to add another row. Let me edit the row, and then name it row two. I think you probably figure out what I was going to do, and then let's name that cell two. And great minds think alike. Let's hit save. I'm going to just hit save just so we can see what it looks like. Here it comes, and I probably didn't do any of the formatting or styling, so it's probably showing up as white. So let's take a look at this, table settings. And we didn't add any content in there, I bet is what the situation is. Background color, why did that not show up? Border color, let's go here just so it shows. And hit general, sort, scroll, table header. Yeah, it's like oops, I do want to delete it. Table row, row 1, row 2. It should all be okay. I mentioned about leaving it default, so I think you'll be okay. Let's check the color on that. Text color. So, obviously, no, that's correct. I'm just kind of playing around here. So let's go to save. Okay, so at least you started to see. Looks ugly. It looks ugly. You have to decide how you want it to look, but it was showing. I had left it as sorting. I don't think you're going to be sorting, but you could. So, oops, hit cancel. And then cell 1, cell 2, and then you could add different styling, like for borders. I don't know, depending on it doesn't show the border around the cell, but you could have added, a thickness of a line, whatever you want to do. So I'll leave that there, and then hit done, and then I'm going to go ahead and publish. And so that's on that page. And there was another page that you were asking about. I think that was the one. Let's go before we open it. Wholesale prices. Okay, so you chose to use that, what would I say, a widget module right here. And I think you're saying that you were having problems jamming another one in here. So I think they call this a price. There's so many of them. A price board, a price menu, rate. I don't remember. I know what we'll do. Let me just open the page instead of me trying to guess and remember. So what the situation is that that's not the appropriate. If you're going to be adding more columns, I see what you're doing. No, yeah, this would not be the appropriate tool widget module for, I don't think, for what you want to do. So I'm waiting for the page to open. It has, so it's loaded. And so I can see here, it's called a pricing table. Okay, so that's what this is. This is a pricing table. And so you have options with the pricing table, and that's fine. You were starting to do this, but yeah, it would get crowded. And the other thing is that would happen, let me hit cancel, is that right now I can see this row, this is a row, and I can see that the content is fixed width. And I can see right here as it highlights, it's fixed width. So if I went to here and then I go to, come on, you see the row is full width. I see the photo in the background full width, the content full width. And now you can see I've just blown it out full width. So now the background, the row is full width, and then the content is also full width, not fixed width. And that's for the row settings here. Okay, so still, I do not think that, I mean, I said it's not the right thing. For what you want to do, yes, it works. It's fine, I guess, especially when I spread out this way. But let me just show you, it's a couple of different options. But, again, this isn't bad. So, it looked better than what I had thought. Let me hit save. I'm going to leave this here. And then what you could do as an example, what I would think you might want to do, save yourself some time, I would just hit edit here for duplicate. And so this is this is a row. Do you see the row right here? The blue line going on. You created a row with the pricing table that dropped in. So you continue going from there, but you could just hit duplicate, and now you've got a row here and then a row here. And then what you also have the option, I'm not saying you want to do this, but you might as you look at, depends on what you want to do, Doug. But let me just show you. I'm going to grab the whole row. So here it says move. I'm going to take it out of that other row up there, and I'm going to drop it into its own row. And it dropped in as defaulting as fixed width. So what do? You go here, edit the row, go from fixed width, and go to full width, because the row has to be full width in order for the content to be full width. And then I'm going to hit save. So the pricing table is fine, Doug. I shouldn't have said anything. If you want to run with that, run with that. You've got other options. Again, we started talking about setting and dropping in tables. You may just want to keep it simple, and you could just drop in a text box. Well, let me go back. Let me get rid of that. So, okay, I did not grab it. Oops, let me get rid of that. Cancel. So here I go plus. I drop in a row. I'm going to drop in a row with 4 columns. 4 columns will get dropped into its own row here. I want to be able to see it a little bit, so I'm going to play around, get it full width. Come on, full width, content full width. Let's do a background color here, a light green. There's my row, full width, light green. It's fine. It'll work for now. Now, what I was saying is, you may just want to keep it simple and then just do the editing right on the page. The formatting won't always be perfect, but I think for what you want to do and do it quickly and easily, it's something to think about. So I go here now. I've already added my row with 4 columns, but now I want to drop a module in. You might just want to use a text editor. That's one option for you. The text editor opens up. You go sausage, here, and then 129, or whatever, and beef, whatever you want to do, buddy. It's yours to type what you want, but this would just be a straight, simple thing for you to quickly, if you want to change prices and that type of stuff. But all the widgets work pretty. I'm gonna hit save, and then you've got this here. And then the next one, if you want to kind of play around and see how they look, see about dropping in the table. There's also a list. There's so many of these different widgets that look similar. They operate slightly different. There's slight duplication, but for what you want to do, getting these prices up, it's just really what appeals to you. I'd probably just delete this whole row, because unless you want to do beef, chicken, fish, or something, and then talk about it. But that's up to you. And then you can see that this is fixed width and a full width row. Fixed width and a fixed row. Anyway, I'm starting to ramble. I hit done, so I'm going to go ahead and do that. Hit publish. You're going to need to go ahead and correct my page I've just messed up on you. But you should be all set, Doug. All right, have fun. Take care. Thanks so much for watching. Bye-bye.